And welcome back, everybody, for another edition of the Triumvirate Plus One. We have a special guest tonight. It is the Real
Woo!
Blonde Broker. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here.
Woo! We need some
thank
like
goodness.
soundtrack in the background or something, like clapping.
Oh, that was me.
No, Malcolm.
Milk.
I'm so
Somebody
excited
asked
when
me
Blonde
why
Broker comes in. Go ahead. No,
Go
what were you
ahead.
saying?
I was
No,
saying
I'm just so
somebody
excited
asked me
whenever
why
you
there
show
was
up
so
here.
many cats on the movie poster.
Oh
I
yeah.
just said I said I really like cats.
Apparently, Grok does too. I don't understand what's going on with that situation, but Cat did design it, so I think it's a bias towards his account.
That might be, but I also gave you a lot of choices, and that's the one you picked. So I can't, it's your
Yes.
choice. You love
Yeah.
cat.
I just picked the one I look the best in. So honestly, that's how I go.
Fair enough.
How many cats do you actually have in your house?
I have 0. I'm allergic to cats.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
No,
Zero cats. 0.
I have one orange cat,
So
and then Cat is a cat,
well,
and then I don't think Matt's got any cats.
No pets here.
I'm Matt's cat.
Yeah.
That's right.
You guys want to talk about some charts?
Yeah, I
of
think
course.
I think
Yeah.
we got a whole stuff we want to talk about, and I think the most interesting thing for me, I'll just kick it off here, is this IWM chart because it is actually starting to break above some levels and really attack like previous highs that were set a few weeks ago and maybe even make its way back to the 213 214. So this kind of seems like some kind of outperformance now, and you can see it in the indices. It was up 1.61% compared to QQQ and SPY. So this actually is catching my eye the most, which is a really, really good thing, I think, for bringing more liquidity into markets and maybe more of a risk on environment. That's what I think.
That's it. That's all you're gonna say.
Yeah, I think we should focus on stuff, I want to focus on stuff that's basically looking more riskier. So that's going to be IWM. That's going to be more of like crypto related stuff. I think just more risk on. That's I think it's about to be more exciting to me personally.
Oh, thank goodness I squeezed a few more sentences out of you. Okay.
I could talk about the QQQ and SPY too, but those are just still in a range. They haven't broken out yet. So yeah.
All right. Well, I guess Tracker, do you have anything else to add before we pass it to our special guest tonight?
No, I mean, I think it's really exciting. I would be happy to not see all the Bitcoin miners do any more retraction, any more support testing. It's starting to feel like they could be coming into their own now. So that's what I'm excited about. And XRP, of course.
Yeah, the dips are getting shallower a little bit here and there, but
Yeah.
all right. Well, we do have our special guest, and I think everybody's probably more excited about listening to the Real Blonde Broker talking about what she's seeing here in the market and all that. Are you sharing your screen there?
I'm not yet, but I certainly can.
Yes, please. While she's doing that, Matt, I'm going to squeeze a few more sentences out of you.
Yes, sir.
So, because you're seeing a little bit more risk on going on with IWM, what are you focusing on right now? Are you focusing on crypto? Are you focusing on any small caps or?
Crypto, yeah, especially the Robinhood, the Coinbase, and a lot of altcoins that we can talk about later on in this episode. But I think it's just I see great things developing in that avenue, especially with Robinhood kind of like breaking out again. So that's just really, really exciting for me to see.
Yeah, you think the Robinhood breakout above the 0.86 is for real this time?
Yeah, I think it is. It looks
Yeah.
pretty for real.
Yeah, and then you have the income sharks basically saying that you're probably going to end up getting priced in with potential S&P 500 inclusion. Do you think we're just kind of running to resistance and then it's going to end up back testing some stuff after?
Well, since we are talking about Robinhood before RBB shows her charts, I guess I'll
Yeah.
pull it up here.
Might as well. I'm gonna try to
yeah,
squeeze as much as I can out of it. I told you.
yeah, here's basically the fib chart is all we really need, and it closed the monthly candle above it last month for the first time ever, right? The highest monthly candle close ever too, and it just had continuation. So this is screaming to me all-time highs, right? The wick up here is going to get challenged sooner than later, I think. I think what we're seeing though is maybe it might not break out there the first time. I think we might kind of just get rejected a little bit and maybe come back and retest levels before breaking into all-time highs. But this chart just looks beautiful. It looks like it wants to go, I think, even into the 1.272, the 1.414. It just keeps on going in the future, but that's later down the road talk. Right now, it's all about breaking all-time highs, and I think that's coming, but maybe not the first try.
Hey, can I have just 2 minutes of the show? I want to just sort of take us back. Matt, would you show my screen?
Yeah.
Just a quick review of kind of like where we are now. After last year, we were really excited about going into 2025, and I was thinking that for a lot of the charts that I picked at random, anything that was running in 2024, and then it had this really great like November, December, and I thought this would be like a wave 3, maybe we get a wave 4, and then we get like a higher wave 5 in March, April. Then what happened was no, this turned out to be like a wave 5, and then we got the big pullback. So for a lot of charts, I used to, these fib extensions that would go like from here, like maybe here, and then like here, and then I thought, well, no, actually, that would have said a 5-wave top out, something like this, maybe, yeah, like this. And I thought, oh, it's just going to go a little higher, and then it would peak up here somewhere after a little bit of pullback. But so now a lot of the charts that I had that was like, like 1, 2, and then 3. It looks like that. And I said, well, let me go back to a previous low. December, that is the wave 1, and then the April 7th low is the wave 2. Some things had like a March low. Most things had an April 7th low, and this is the new 1, 2. So a lot of these charts that I have, I'm just projecting them bigger and bigger. This pullback was really devastating. If you were in the market like I was and just kind of trying to ride it out, thinking it was a 4th wave, it's really giving us a huge opportunity to come back bigger and better. And that's all I wanted to say. Just in general, I see a lot of charts like this where right now we're just getting into usually like a 382, 236, 382 yet. Some things have gotten to their 382 and they'll do the 2-3 pullback. Yeah, some things are already into their 3rd wave. The just starting the heart of the 3rd wave now. Some things like this one are just getting ready to get into. I want to say I see a lot of possibilities for 2025 being even bigger than 2024. And that was it. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. And now, RBB, it's your turn. Go ahead. Boom.
Okay, there I am. So here's my SPX chart, and I'm like stuck. Honestly, this is one of those that I bought the 5100, no question. I was like, okay, let's go. That's a nice harmonic. Like this was the down, that was the middle, that was the next leg. And so I've been pretty bullish, been looking for 59.60 to like 60.30. So we got the 59.60, instantly pulled back, tested this gap a little bit, but didn't fill it. So just slowly touched it and then took off again. So I'm still in a questioning camp of whether this is like 1, 2, 3, and we still get a 4th wave pullback to fill a couple of these gaps, and then another bounce into the summer, because I'm really bullish into the summer months. So I get a little nervous when Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, talks about, we're going to 7,000. There's no stop. I know Tom Lee's super bullish. Everybody's bullish, which makes me hesitant because when I was bullish, nobody hardly was. And so when the script flips, then I start getting a little worried. So I still have some targets on a few stocks that I'm watching, but and when you start to see like CoreWeave and nuclear and a lot of these themes of small stocks running, it just makes me a little cautious. So, I'm continuing to be bullish and following trend, but right here you start to see a lot of resistance in this 6,000 6020. I've got a 1.272 fib at 6086. So those are kind of the three levels I'm watching. I just wouldn't say like we're free and clear. This could still be, like A, B, and we could have a C coming. I'm just struggling to understand like why Trump would want all-time highs in 2025. I think he saves it for later in his presidency. I think we've still got more than 3 years of Trump's presidency, so I think he will pace himself. So there's just some arguments of, why we could start to stall out in the next little bit. So I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. I just keep going along. I'm seeing like coin running today, CoreWeave caught Meta yesterday. So I'm having a lot of good trades and a lot of good trade setups, but I just don't know. I'm not willing to say like whether I'm not a perma bear or a perma bull. I just play the price action. And I just think like we need to watch this area because over here, you can just see kind of the lines and where, the problems started to appear. So as long as the trend is up and, it broke out of this consolidation and was really nice today, I'm just kind of being careful. So when all the price targets start getting raised on everything, that's I just kind of get some red flags going. So
doesn't the QQQ and the IWM look better right now than the SPY though, in your opinion?
The IWM does not. I'll have to switch screens for my IWM because I have, let's see if I can do that. I'm going to stop sharing this one and see if I can switch, Matt.
Okay, that's fine.
So let me see.
Meow meow.
Yeah, nothing. It just disappeared. So I think you got to reshare it when you get to. There we go.
I think it's this one.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, oh no, you're sharing both screens right now. I think you got to choose one.
How do I? Okay, let me try that again.
Yeah, just make sure you show one.
Meow meow.
Yeah, I show one and it goes up to the one I just was showing. So let's see how I get just that one. Does that show it or is that the old one?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is good.
Well, that's not the one I want to show though.
That's the SPX still.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to go from Trading View to TOS. So let me try this. Let me try this.
La 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 la.
The intermission singing by Cat. It's so lovely.
Hey Matt, what do you think? What do you think when the bond broker says she's allergic to cats? Like, how allergic do you think she is?
On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 2.
Oh, that's pretty allergic.
Yeah.
Like sniffly nose.
I'm like an 8. Okay, I can't get the other one up, so we'll use this one and I'll just talk through it.
Okay.
But okay, so here's IWM.
But it already
And
closed the gap, though. It already closed it.
okay, but here's the problem, and this is what you can't see right now, which is why I was trying to pull up that other chart. In fact, no, it won't let me do that. Okay. So what you don't see is, you guys know I use bands. So the daily band is 210 to 212.2 on IWM. And it can't get over it yet. And it looks like inverse head and shoulders. So, I mean, it's looking good. This looks like a right shoulder. But until IWM trades above 212.18, it can't run to higher targets. So it's staying confined between this 198 and 212 band. And until it's above 212.2, it can't break out. So that's your key level. $212.20 needs to hold above that to really start to move.
Everyone, let's stay quiet.
Shh, quiet, everybody. So, but I mean, you can see, it's a nice head and shoulder, but this 212 right here, where it's trying to get to, and where it's, broke down a few times ago, it just can't run until price cycles into there.
It looks to me like it's just avoiding January 13th low. You got to January 13th, 2025. That's like right there at 214, and it's just it's not going to let us get that test yet, because I think it knows once it does, it's going to let the cat out of the bag and might want to go higher from there. I've been seeing other charts do this too, like Tesla. They wouldn't let it touch 350 for the longest time, and then they finally let it run a little bit, and now it's back under it again. Anyway, that's what I see.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. So anyway, that's what is holding it back. And you can't see it on this chart, but you can see it on the ones where I use the different Celts. And so that's what it needs to really start to move. So it's kind of playing with us right now, toying with us until it gets above that.
Oh yeah.
But it's looking likely to me that it's going to break out. That's what I see. So that's why I'm more optimistic on it. But yeah, I'm anticipating a move, but not guaranteed, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks good. If that inverse head and shoulders holds up and the market continues to run, then maybe some of these small names in here can get moving as well. But that is the level that it needs and that it hasn't gotten yet.
And what about the QQQ? I think it looks better than the SPY personally.
It's been relatively more bullish with QQQ over SPY. Even on a higher time frame, looks pretty good. If you like do the QQQ over SPY chart, actually looks fantastic.
I know. Is the SPY and the IWM changing places? Is it Freaky Friday?
Is it Freaky Friday? Yes, it is Freaky Friday. So, I mean, it is getting into this nice area. We had like this cup where it decided like to break down from it. And then it came down to, like the discouragement area, made a handle and is making a nice bounce. So it needs 530 though. So 530 is the key level on QQQ in order to go higher. So right now it keeps stopping right there at the 530. It did it over, let's see, where was it? Just recently, right here. It pushed it away. So, maybe this next attempt we can get into the 530, but that's really what it needs to run. So 530 is a key level for QQQ to go higher. But nice setup, and holding some really good trends here on the 1 hour chart.
Yeah, it's been really fun having
to
like a whole
continue to
series
hold
of
that.
higher highs and higher lows again after the first quarter.
Yeah. And, we do have a gap here though. So at what, 492 area. So if
I
it
don't
does
know.
start to break down.
Yeah, everybody's looking at a gap too. I mean, even it's even on the weekly, and weekly gaps are generally filled. I think like the last weekly gap for QQQ and SPY that hasn't been filled was like a few decades ago. So
Mhm.
I'm looking at it. Everybody's looking at it, and it's just like one of those things: is it going to get filled, or is it going to be a runaway gap because everybody's looking at it? I don't know. It's tough to say. Any indication like you're thinking that it's going to fill it or not?
Well, like I said, right now I am torn because,
Me too.
you
Yeah.
know, it is the indexes are in a hard place in my opinion. So, it's just tricky. That's all I can say. So I just kind of go and, if we go into that 530 and hold it, then I will be bullish, If we keep rejecting 530, I'm going to know something's wrong.
If the indexes are more challenging, do you see anything particularly that looks like better setup to you recently?
Um I have really loved like coin. I've loved MSTR. They've had some nice moves again. So like I had this harmonic on MSTR. To get to my arrow. There we are. Where we went and hit this 425. So then I sold and then it came down and it made this nice harmonic and it's trying to get into this gap again at the 391 area to like 3 to 400. So I'm watching that, but that's a nice rounding cup, maybe a little handle here and it can pop. So um I don't know if it continues or if this is just kind of like a wave one and we get a two pullback because I think Bitcoin is still flagging and it hasn't broken out to go higher. So usually you'll see MSTR move ahead of Bitcoin. So I'm being cautiously optimistic, but really liked this play on MSTR and coin was very similar to it. And I played the coin one today. So watching Bitcoin, I kind of think it's just kind of consolidating MSTR and coin and all of them in this area. I often call it like the tough area to trade because all of a sudden they run without notice and then they pull back without notice and they do this 2 or 3 times before they really go. And so I kind of feel like we're in this tease factor right now and they're forming some nice like cups and a handle and once it goes it's going to be a really nice move. So really liking MSTR and coin.
Me too. Yeah.
B3, yeah. No, there's really like no. I don't know if you look at like volume much. There's really not much volume during this consolidation. It's just like they're just kind of seeing what the bears would do and how far they bring it down. And it looks like coin had like a little tiny bit of volume coming in today. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's a better setup for sure. It's also got a big giant gap down below too for coin on the daily. So I yeah, I don't know. It's like the same gap that you have with the indexes too. So it's but anyway, if they're gonna roll the same, I wonder if they're gonna end up rolling together and it might be like a breakaway gap. I don't know.
Can I
Yeah,
share my
no, it's
MicroStrategy chart?
hard to say.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Trekker. Let me switch screens for ya. Let's go
Thank
here.
you.
Boom.
This is a fun one because I basically just go all the way back to, the low on this chart is 1326. I think I found what looked like a significant low at this point. It's actually 1338 right here. So 1338 for the wave start to the all-time high of 548.20, and then this higher low that we struck down here at 224.98. I have on my chart here for some reason. So this is what I call my large 1-2, and then these are the fib extensions on the right. And so I was just looking at it did a 382. It came right at 429.30 on high. It actually hit a 430.35, just $1.05 above that ideal target. And then I was looking for a pullback to the 236 after that, 351.22. We actually got it stopped short of that, 358.50. So like $7 short of that. It's possible. It's possible. It could still find here on this 8-hour chart, Ichimoku baseline could still be resistance, and it could send it back down one more time. I don't want to see that, but that's possible. Maybe it's possible it just didn't go to hour moving average 75, which I love. This is a perfect meld of the moving average 50, the moving average 100, and everyone's looking at the 50 and the 100, and the 75 is sort of like this perfect battleground point between the two. And you can see it sort of held. It did hold up support really well here. So I don't know. It's possible it could go back to 351.22. But otherwise, after a 382.236, I look for a 123.6 fib. So part of the third wave would be next if we've hit the bottom already. That takes its 04, or where price is right now and after hours, about 120% higher. And of course, this will have in itself a 5-wave setup. I don't know. I'm just drawing it messily like this. It may not look like this, but anyway, that's where I'm at with MicroStrategy. Yeah, it could go back for that $7. It didn't touch the line before. Might have to do it, or might not. That's all. I just wanted to show that.
They're asking for a hood chart. Do you have one, RBB, that you could share with us to get your take on it?
Sure. So finally, I got the right screen working.
Nice.
This is what I wanted to show you on QQQ fast.
Okay.
It's pretty.
So let's see here. Let me move it up. So over here, and if I go to my 1 hour, I think you can see it better. Maybe.
It's a big orange block.
Yes, exactly.
Literally blocking
So this
price.
big orange block is the monthly band. And so right now, the monthly band is saying you cannot enter. Price will not allow you to enter. I don't know how to make it bigger other than otherwise it's just going to blow up the screen. But there it is. Right here is the 530 on QQQ. And so until price holds within there, not just like wicks it or, touches it, or you need like some body in there, a candle, some body, then it can move. But until then, this is blocking price. So that's why I keep saying you need like 530 to hold on the Qs in order to get some movement through this band. But right now, this band is like, standing at the gate saying, you're not entering. So very, very key level. And when you hear me talking about levels, this is what I'm talking about. And this one is particularly important because it is a primary level. Like sometimes there's just little roadblocks along the way. This is a big one. Like the more primary a band is, the harder it is to break into. And so once it does allow that, then the price can really accelerate. But until then, this is a major roadblock. So important to note. But, right now trend looks good. It keeps trying. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles trying to break the gold and then break the orange. So it's trying. It's holding up here. But if this gets rejected, then, we come back down towards like 524. But that's the important thing on the Qs. So I'm going to switch to my other chart, Matt, because I think they can see that one better.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll go to hood. Okay, so here's Hood. Obviously, really nice push. A lot of rumors about being added to the S&P. What I want to see personally is a cup or a little bit of a handle, some sort of uh, pullback to go higher. I just feel like this has pushed more. Like, here's kind of your 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't want to be touching Hood right here. If you're in it and you've had shares for a while, maybe you buy a couple of cheap puts to protect yourself. I'm not saying like abandon ship, get out of Hood, but I would like to see some sort of pullback and then go. I just feel like this is extended. So, maybe to this 63 level or so, but we will see. Trend is your friend. You just draw the line. This is a 1-hour chart. So far, so good. But if you draw this line, you can see where it has some room to, at least come down and test a little bit. So we'll see. But that's kind of my take on Hood is I'd like to see a small cup on it of some sort to kind of grab some other buyers and then go. So I don't know, maybe if data isn't great tomorrow or Thursday, we see a little pullback, and then if they get added Friday, maybe it goes. Or if the rumor is false, then you're really going to see it come down. So that's the trick on Hood. So
Oh man,
what do you guys think?
do I ever have I have a chart to show you guys, especially Real Blonde Broker. Matt's going to bring me up here. Thank you, Matt. So if you look back here, Robinhood, it's all-time after the IPO. It hit an all-time high of $85, then immediately did this. From the 85 high to the 681 all-time low, which was right here. And then it's making its way back up through the retrace. Let's see, we got to almost the 786, and it kicked way back down to test almost the 236. I'm looking at these ones on the left here. And then here we are approaching the 886. And look what I've got on my chart. So I took from the all-time low of 671, just like before, I used to have, this was like wave 1, wave 2, and then it was like doing this. Well, now this is my wave 1 top. This is my wave 2 bottom, and now we're in the third wave. And the third wave of wave 1, it went for the 764. And it's going to top out, according to my projections, it's going to top out at exactly $74.71. We're like maybe tomorrow. And then it's going to pull back to 51.75. It'll pull back to the 382 Fibonacci extension. So here, your little cup, it's after a cup, or I guess if you call this the cup in this for you there, Real Blonde Broker. So 51.75, and then
right
it
shoulder.
can push and break out. That kind of, yeah. Or right shoulder, exactly. And then that will push.
Yeah, of an inverse head and shoulder.
That will let us get past the 886 here. And then it's either, now my chart predicts 1382 after the 382. So that'd be 111.85. Matt's retraced really well. Maybe it stops at 106.27, or maybe it extends to 117.37. So I'm kind of leaning towards extending to 117.37. After that, the 100% fib is support at 88.89, and then it tops out in 5 waves. The 238.2 at $172, 171.95. Or let's see, I guess so if it pulls back from the 764, from 74 71, it's a 30% drop. That, if you pick it up from the 51.75 to the wave, well, to the wave 3, to be like 122 to 132% higher, and then the wave 5 top is about that. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. No, that's right. From this wave 2 bottom. On the top and then test pattern support to 5175 next.
I just have one quick thing I wanted to show, Matt, if you went past it.
Yeah, I saw you getting ready with your chart back in the
Well,
background. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is a post I made at 3:47 p.m. Eastern time today, and I said if we backtest hood at 0.86 log fit before going even higher, we should cry, because price end up around like $72, and the 0.86. I really think that was a area that would probably end up getting revisited to. So I agree with you. That's probably going to go back down to maybe like 63, 62, maybe a little lower, to kind of grab liquidity and wait for other buyers to come in before going up higher. Just want to show you I'm thinking the same thing. That's all.
Ooh, but if it goes back to my 5175, that's like
It'd be down
your
here. That would be at the
76.
0.76. Yeah,
Yep.
which would be liquidity zone down to. That's another potential cup for it to go. I think that because of how impulsive it is, like it probably ends up going higher, is my guess, and they would probably have to come back to grab liquidity down. Or if it ends up getting rejected hard, which it could, this is an extremely volatile stock, then the 0.76 is possible. So a lot of concerns there.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about coin, because coin to me looks like it wants to continue. But what do you guys think about that compared to Robinhood?
Well, why don't you show your coin chart, man? I'm gonna make you work.
You already have your chart up. I think instead of switching, you can start first.
Okay, fine. Well, why am I even talking? Nobody wants to listen to me.
Everybody wants to listen to you.
No, I mean,
We're all listening to you.
I think the truth is this: there's no volume during. I'm also torn in a way, because there's really no volume anyway. It's just been consolidating down. The downward trend over here is on like very little volume, and we have a little bit of volume pickup, and it kind of reversed a lot of like price action. It looks like it wants to go higher, based on what I'm looking at. If you also look at the bull in Japan here too, it basically just touched the 20-day right there, yesterday on Monday, and it was getting ready for like a move up because there's like no volume. All the sellers probably been exhausted over here. So we kind of expected a bounce over here. There's really not much of a question. The question is whether or not this is like sustainable. And whenever it bounces off the 20-day, it tends to like to gravitate back up to the upper bull in Japan. So that's probably what I would expect it to do. But there's also a big giant gap down below. So I don't know. But I probably think it probably have some further bullish continuation, because it doesn't take a whole lot of volume to push this thing up. Right, we're just waiting for some volume to come in, and I think it's probably going to come in because it's starting to. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just show mine real quick, and I want RBB's thoughts as well. But on my chart right here, yeah, I mean it from the all-time high to the all-time low, it's building a base on top of the 786, the 245, 66. Also, the Ichimoku, the baseline was nailed perfectly this week as well. Went down there to grab that liquidity, and now it's even trying to get back above the cloud. So I think if that cloud can really maintain a support, it really feels like this wants to just continue towards the 270s, 80s, and maybe even 300s, right? This is how it feels like to me. I think it wants to play some catch up to Robinhood, because Robinhood already basically broke out of the 886, and coin needs to catch up to it. So I think my thoughts are more higher first before lower. What are your thoughts, RBB?
All right, you guys ready for this chart?
Oh yeah.
Yep. We're always ready. No, we're not.
But you stopped sharing.
I'm getting there. I'm getting it up.
That's the first time I ever heard that before. Anyway, go ahead.
So you guys know that I love patterns. This is a Wyckoff accumulation.
Very nice.
It's in the D, phase D, SOS. It is in this choppy phase. Just beautiful. We sold here at 275. We just came back this week in the 240s, picked up calls, and are getting this push into the SOS, which could go as high as like 270, 272. Let me compare it to my Kelt. Yeah, so 272. If it can hold 265, then it can go to 272. And this is what I'm talking about, this chop, where like you think like, oh, we're off and we're flying, this is great, and it drops. And then you're like, oh, and you're getting these like lower highs. You think you kind of have like a bearish trend, and then all of a sudden it goes without you, and you're like, oh, that stupid stock, like it's gone. So this is what I'm talking about, like through June into early July, coin is going to try to kick you out. You can also think of it as kind of like a, cup. Like here's the big cup, here's the smaller cup or handle. Like, and it can come down here. Like even if it hit like 230, I wouldn't abandon hope on it. Like sometimes it'll come over here and chop for a couple weeks and make you think like you don't know what you're doing, and then it goes. So I just say buy time, be careful. This is the choppy, yucky DSOS portion of Wyckoffs. They're meant to throw you out of the stock before it gets a nice bounce. So this is what I'm watching, is this current push up. It's flagging right now. It looks good above, 257. So I would like to see some continuation. And this is a 4-hour chart, by the way. And, then a little bit more after. This is also matching kind of the bull flag that's forming on Bitcoin. And so as that bull flag forms on Bitcoin, the bull flag will be forming on coin, and then I'm looking for continuation. So that's my plan. So, and thanks Fat Chin, appreciate it. So that's what I'm looking for. We're just working on this choppy, non-continuing, wonder why it's running, wonder why it's not running section, and then looking for a beautiful move after we fill this cup.
So you're basically on team Bitcoin breakout as well then, aren't you?
Eventually. And I mean, I'm not looking, for the big numbers yet. Like I'm not at 250 or something like that, but I would like to see like 130 to 140. It may, tease people around 95 to 100 even, and go back and kind of play under the 100 before it breaks out. But, basically, this is going to form, I didn't want that right there. This is going to form, kind of a bull flag.
Yeah, I see that.
So, and, same thing with Bitcoin. And then, let's go probably July, August, and maybe, that's with the tariff news. Maybe, Trump says he has a deal or whatever the case may be. But, and then I am looking for still that like 130, 140 area on Bitcoin.
So
I didn't know my mic was on. I was
yeah,
calling.
right.
I
You
was
knew
like,
it.
I was like, does Cat really want to say something? He's
I
like-
probably have
Yeah,
like
for
a
a while.
mild version of Tourette's.
he's
I
like
do
got
that a
this
lot.
like pent up energy, like let me talk.
I do not, but although I do have something cool to show you, but that's
So
not the
anyway,
reason.
that is my coin chart. Like I said, be careful because it will run one day and break your heart the next. So just keep that in mind. This is that stage of choppiness, and like these lines can even come down here. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see it shake the tree even more.
It's oscillating right around 260, isn't it?
257, yeah.
Yeah.
But so you kind of have like 257, 260, 265, 272. Those are like the levels going up.
Can I show my chart?
Yeah.
No,
but I want to show something cool too. And I coughed ahead of time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cough. But
yeah, right.
No, you're fine.
but you're showing why I cough.
It's
So
terrible.
maybe you should ask me why I cough.
Oh,
Being
boom,
cautious.
boom, boom.
Why cough? Yeah. So here's
I
my
am
Coinbase
not
chart.
asking. I am not asking.
Aren't you a little curious, RBB?
No, no,
But I
no, I'm
coughed
not.
because
No,
blank.
not at all. Nope, none.
Yep, that's the right answer. All right, from the 31.55 low to the 349.49 high, and then the higher low at 138.56. I've got these extension fibs on the right, and it went to the 618. So, no, I'm sorry, it hasn't gone to the 618. right now, right around the 382, 260.11. And here's that wick-off oscillation that Real Blomberg is showing you right here. If it can get over the 382, I suspect it wants to go to the 618 up here at 335.21. If it can't get, I mean, from her, I love that wick-off pattern in the background. That's genius. So if it can accomplish that, 61.8% at 335.21 is where I see it. Ordinarily, if I didn't have that wick-off chart to look at from Blomberger, I would say if it can't get over the 382, it's going to go back to the 236 down here at 213.66. Now, the important part is what happens after it gets to 618 at 335. It can't get higher than 335.21 at the 618. Then it still goes back down to the 23.6 at 213, everyone's heart. But the 618 and extend out to the 764 right here, 764 at 381.66. Then it only comes back to the 382 for the support test. And then it can extend on to the 138.2 fib at 578.31 instead of 123.6 fib at 531.86, which is where I'm currently projecting if we get stuck under the 618 at 335.21. So there you go. There's my Coinbase chart to compare to. I love looking at everyone's charts. It's so fun. They kind of mine fits together with Matt's. I like the wick-off thing that Real Bond Broker has. Anyway, I'm shutting up now.
No, you don't have to shut up. But, yeah, but I do want to show something too. That
I want to give everyone else more time to talk.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so you know the right side over here, that's the 4-hour chart for Coinbase. Do you know what the left one over here is?
Weekly.
Yeah, weekly. They look pretty similar,
don't they? That's so cool.
And then if you do, let's say if I do that point right there going down, and then if you can see like it's kind of get rejected or 0.86 is having a hard time breaking through. If you do the same thing over here, it's also got rejected or 0.86. Pretty interesting. I think they're both kind of having very, very similar SOS patterns that Ruben Booker was showing, except that this might be a higher time frame, and this is like a really low.
The higher time frame looks like a almost completed wick-off for the last stage.
It does. It does look like that. It really shook a lot of people out over here.
It's gonna wike the hell off.
I was looking at it. I was looking at 4 hours. So I was like, wait, what time frame are you showing? Is it a weekly? No, it's the 4 hour. I'm like, Anyway, that's all I wanted to show. So go ahead, guys. I think people wanted to know. People wanted to know Tesla chart from the blind broker. So.
Oh yeah, we all want to.
Yes.
Why don't you guys show yours first? Because I'm working on mine right here.
Oh, show you ours and you'll show us yours. Okay,
yeah, something like that. Or maybe I won't. I mean, you don't know, right? You never know.
Well, we'll take the gamble. Kat, you go first.
The more like blind broker talks, the more I feel like she like says a lot of things that like middle-aged men would say. I don't know. Like,
middle-aged men.
Like I'll show you like the stuff like that. Like you say it's okay is cool. Like if I say it, I'll go to jail, But
I don't need any accusations, Kat. Everybody's always like, I know you're a guy pretending to be a girl, and it's like, no, really, I am a girl.
You're definitely a girl. Actually, I mean, I don't know, but you're yeah.
I seem to check out.
Yep. So, all right. I'm just being silly. I don't have much to say. I'm just going to basically be a time filler here. This is what I see for Tesla. I think most likely it's going to end up consolidating over here for a month. I don't think it's ready to really push up yet, because I see this at a very, very similar spot as we did maybe like over here. I see this breakout, the false breakout over here is very, very similar to this like 2-year, up and down like that. And it did break a trend line, it back tested, break a trend line, back tested, test the volatile cloud over here too on both sides. So a lot of very similarity between these two areas. The other thing too is look at Bollinger Band. You do have bit of low Bollinger Band contraction here, but overall I think that the upper Bollinger Band is expansion. I think that's giving it's getting it ready for, maybe eventually maybe a little bit more explosive move up. I just don't think it's ready yet on this particular time frame, because I still think that it's trying to get over some resistance here, and I was hoping that it would just push through, but it hasn't yet. Looking at the baseline, which I'm sure Matt is looking at, Trucker's probably looking at this too. Look, 2 weeks look okay, but a monthly also with the conversion line over here, a lot of resistance here. Still having a hard time breaking out. So I can imagine it probably stand another month, like kind of going sideways over here, and it's going to be in a range. It's my guess. I have to guess my best range is the top part range, maybe around 350. Bottom rush maybe around the 3 teens, maybe a little lower. I think you guys are showing some lower possibilities too, but that's kind of range that I'm looking at. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing, but I'm not going to be like too super bullish that it's going to go up next week or anything like that. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I got some same old to share that I share every week, and well, this is the linear scale 786, and we have clearly been rejected for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row. We had 1 week break above, but it is not ready yet. And every time it does get above, you see people get all excited. Yes, it's going to break out, but that's when they trap you, and then it goes back down. Plus, I have confluence of my GAN here, and that is really the same level, right? And that's basically a little bit higher, maybe 358, 359. And it can't break above it. Like there's been no weekly candles back above it. And it was a breakdown point, right? It literally broke down, flipped it to resistance right there for 2 weeks, and it crashed down to the blue angle on the arc. And that arc was a perfect back test of the previous resistance back in the past. So this is a beautiful formation of market symmetry. One of my favorites, really, but it's just not ready yet, right? So people, you can't force it. You can't just force it to be ready because it's just not. So like Kat said as well, we also have the Ichimoku baseline there as well as added resistance, which is 351.39. So much confluence of resistance right now that I don't think it's just ready to break. So got to give it time. And if it did retrace, how far back would it retrace? It could go down to the 320s or even close this gap right here, right? And that would not surprise me, and that would shake out a lot of people and be all bearish again, when in reality that would be a very bullish back test for the continuation higher. RBB tracker.
Sure, I'll show my Tesla chart.
Do it.
All right, so here's Tesla on the weekly, and I've been talking about how let's see, gosh darn it, these are all mucked over each other. Let me just hide this set for a second. All right, so if you go from the which one is it? Here, right here. If you go from the 101.81 low to the new all-time 88.54, and then this higher low of 214.25, and that's my 1-2. Then I got these fibs here in purple, where I think it basically wants to go to 509 next for the 764, and then back to the 388. But on the way to there, it can do all sorts of crazy stuff, like fill this gap back down to go to 305.52. And I was thinking that maybe it was kind of starting to do, what was the word I was looking for? A megaphone pattern, where it's just like getting, expanding, getting wider and wider and more. But maybe it's just going to do like this. Either it makes this giant triangle, and so now it's going to go like it did this, and then maybe it does this, and then breaks out. Or we're in this little triangle down here, where it is this, then this. Oh God, no, not that way. And then that way, like that. So I don't know, or this just becomes, it breaks out this triangle, and then makes this triangle, and then gets out. So we're just stuck. We're stuck in this muckety muck here. It's kind of all I wanted to say about that, other than just my giant master chart, which you guys have seen. You can sort of see a hint of it here, but I actually have it on this chart right here. I've been showing this off. So yeah, I don't know what it's going to do between here and here, but either it goes to the purple lines because that's based off of the, oh, I hid the chart.
All right, so we need
Sorry,
a
1 second.
yeah. So far we have 3 range bound and then breakout. I'm wondering. Yeah, I think all 3 of
Yeah,
us share very similar thoughts.
What about you, RBB?
Yeah.
You got
Okay,
And
I
this-
just
you got a
sent you my
bullish
chart.
scenario? Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so let me make this bigger again.
Yeah. Bigger.
There we go.
Those
There you
are
go.
music to Cat's ears. Make it bigger.
Yeah.
You can't really make it's going to be as big as it's going to be. Anyway, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
Anyway, I'll explain it here. Actually, I like the 4-hour better, so we're going back. All right, important here. 2 things that we have to watch for, and I think I'm mainly in agreement with Matt. He's probably the closest to what I'm seeing. One is this a head and a right shoulder, or a left shoulder and a right shoulder. Do we start to come down? It keeps defending the neckline though at 332.2. So basically it got rejected at my gold tops. It got shoved down to the gold mid. They bought it. They tried to test those tops again and it was flat out rejected today. So coming down again. So we need to pay attention to this trend line on the 4-hour until we get it back. We are just in choppiness. It will probably look somewhat like this left side. You can already see how it is, that there's these double candles here, double candles here. So we probably are going to get a choppy look to this. The problem becomes if you lose this 332, then as Matt mentioned, there's those 2 gaps below in the kind of 318, 320 area, and then the 309 to like 305 area. There's another gap. So if we start to lose this gold mid line, is what I call it, then it's more likely we're coming down to test the gold bottom band here. So this 332 is very critical to Tesla. Loss of that line and we go lower. So just kind of watching, but I almost think we just do this consolidation, build out, and then it goes. Also, oddly enough, Tesla tends to run with Bitcoin because it has Bitcoin. It was one of the first to have the Bitcoin payments. So if, when I was talking about MSTR and coin, Tesla's kind of in the same camp where it's kind of making that little cup, and it's going to be that choppy run one day, drop the next. And so it's looking, oddly enough, like coin, like MSTR. So I put Tesla in the same camp as those 2 names. So that's something to consider as well. So 332, very important level. We are in a downtrend. So until we can break above this, be careful. A lot of people were screaming for 380, 400. That's not the route it took. If you know Tesla, they never make anything easy. So we're just in this choppy range. So be careful getting too directed in one way or the other, so that you'll know that until, right now we're basically just between these 2 gold lines. So if we get close to it, watch for rejection. If we get close to this one, see if they buy it. And those are kind of your best plays as we're coming through this, what I call the neckline of Tesla.
I've been telling my subscribers it's a good place for an option strangle here. Do shorter dated puts
it is.
and longer dated calls.
Yeah, or you could sell, certain levels, like go
Yep.
sell Tesla 310. I mean, if I can get these shares for like 308, I'm taking them, So like do the will strategy. Go sell go sell the 310 and hope
Yeah.
that you get assigned, you know? That's another way to play it. So that's and you know, if I get that 308, I'm in. You know, I've set aside money for that gap if we do hit it, and I'll take it there. I would love if we do. I'm not sure, but I would love it if we filled that gap. But for now, 332 is being defended. This left side and right side probably need to match a little bit more. They need to look a little more in sync. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more build out, kind of like the coin chart that I showed earlier. That this is probably in that same DSOS, which is the worst part of trading it because it's the choppy part of the chart until you get another nice run. So that's my take on Tesla.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a beautiful tick. I mean, you're showing us that we never had things that we never had an opportunity to look at. So pretty awesome. Somebody asked about
one more thing.
Yeah, please, one more thing. Go for it.
So
you sound like Tracker. Go ahead.
Well, Tracker is my buddy. This orange band, once again, I showed you it on the Qs. I'm going to show it to you on Tesla. It has to hold 363, which it tried to do and got shoved out. But this 363 has to hold before you get like 390, 400. So like I tell people, I run, a Discord, that until price holds in here, there's no 400. So I'm like, there's no sense in even like, having these, people want weekly calls or monthly or whatever. And, if you're buying a lot of time, maybe it'll come around. But until you hold these levels, it can't run. So until price is in this 363, Tesla cannot go hit higher targets. So whatever they tell you on X, until it holds the gold bands and then holds the orange bands, price has to cycle. And it's not in either of the bands. So there's nothing to push it up. So until we get into those levels, it cannot go to the top of them. Until it holds the bottom of them, it cannot go to the top. So until it holds this level, it cannot go to the top. So really important to remember that, there is a way that price moves, and Tesla is not in an area that it can just all of a sudden spike up like that right now.
Let me show my chart again, because it'll illustrate exactly what Real Blonde Broker is saying. Sorry, we make Matt do all the work, switching between screens. Thanks. So yeah, just like I've got my purple line here, this 382 at 361.98, it wouldn't even let it test it. It was 2 weeks back here. Finally, it tested it and then rejected it. It has to get over the 382 and then show it as support before it can go to the 764 at 509.71, and then it'll test back down to it as support, and then it can go on higher again. So that's what I'm looking for. Like for 360, like Bron Bloker said, 362 has to become support. So then it can test 509, back to 362, and then on up to the 1382 up here at 748.71. Show you there. This other second set of fibs is if you take the it's like the all-time low, like a significant low around $11 to 488, and then back to 214.25. 2 sets. Anyway, I'm doing this one right now from the 101.81 to the all-time high to the higher low. All right, what next?
I think Kat had a question.
Well, I don't have a question. I think what are you talking about?
No, you're gonna read a question about Bitcoin miners, I think, right?
Oh, I was. I wasn't even aware of. Oh, no, actually, yeah. Somebody asked about Mara. I don't know how much time you have, though. RBB, yeah, whether or not it's your bedtime.
I'm good. You can talk about Mara. I'm good. I'm just hanging out here.
Are you bullish on any Bitcoin miners, RBB, like Mara or anything right now?
So I don't look at a lot of the miners. I know people play them. Like I often say, like if coin's running and MSTR's running, then you'll see a bounce in the miners. I track MSTR and coin, and I mean I can look at the others and give levels, give charts on them, but those are the two I play because I have tracked them so diligently that I kind of feel like they set the tone and the others follow. So those are just my two favorites. Like MSTR and Coin are my babies, and that's what I like. So I'm not opposed to the miners. I just struggle with them because they just have been so slow to go, and I like a little faster movement. So I've liked Coin and MSTR more.
Fair enough. Cat likes faster movement too.
I like
also,
no movement.
also these bands,
Me 3.
these bands are called Keltner channels. I'm seeing a couple of questions. So study up on like Keltner channels. I know that Cat uses clouds. Matt's GAN tracker, Elliott Wave. I'm kind of more patterns and Keltner channels. So we all approach things a little differently, but that's what the bands are.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about having on the show is like we get your harmonics view and these Keltner bands, and it's one aspect that the other three of us don't cover.
Yeah. So this is Marathon or Mara, and it looks like left shoulder, right shoulder. Looks a lot like IWM. This is kind of your head here. This $9. So you're just seeing if it can get above 1530, and then it needs like 16.8. But nice round curve here. It's probably like IWM. It's just waiting to see if it can break out, and if IWM breaks out, it goes with it, or if MSTR and Bitcoin break out, it goes with it. But to me, it's setting up. I don't know if it's ready, but it looks like it's setting up. Kind of looks like the beginning of a Wyckoff, where this is your low and this is kind of your phase 1 and 2. So it just needs to continue to hold these gold levels and just start to move up. But choppy phase, right shoulder, but not quite ready till IWM is ready. But what's your take?
I've always thought that Mara is like a leverage play for IWM. Like I've been talking about that for like over a year. It's actually the highs are sometimes higher than IWM, low sometimes lower. But overall it actually tracks pretty well. So I'm actually not surprised that you mentioned that. Actually, kind of glad that you did mention that. So. Anybody else?
Well, I'm glad I noticed that, because I don't look at IWM a lot, and I haven't looked at this a lot, but just looking at them tonight, I'm like, that's kind of the IWM chart. So there you go,
Yeah.
Kat. I'm on to you. I can feel it.
Thank you for the validation. Do you guys have anything else to add, or do we want to ask RBB to look at more charts while she's here? I think that might be a better use of all of our time.
Okay.
Somebody's asking you about MongoDB, if you have a chart.
Yeah, I do have Bongo. Let me pull up Mongo.
Bongo.
Let me see. I'm just deciding which screen I want it on. Let me pull. Okay, yeah, okay. Let me go.
Reminds me of that Blazing Saddles line. Mongo don't know. Mongo only Pong.
Mongo don't know. Okay, so here's MongoDB. You can see really nice harmonic, kind of almost a double bottom. I didn't see it here. I wish I had. I really like this name moving into the next year or two. I think it's going to be a leader. I think it's coming back. Really excited about this name. The question is, tomorrow is earnings. I don't know what it'll do for earnings. We kind of got this nice shoulder here, nice shoulder here. We've got a lot of gap right here. I mean, I kind of treat this as a gap because this long line has no volume in it. You could just see there's like no volume. So if Mongo wants to bounce, it first needs 200. And then if it can get over 200, I think it goes and fills at least some of this gap up to like 229, 230. I don't know if it does. It could fall back and, test down here. It could be a false cup breakdown and come back here. I don't really care. Like, I will buy this. Like, so if MongoDB drops and gives me, like I started buying around 183. So like I said, I'm a little late on the buy here. I wish I'd got it in the 140s. I did not. So if it drops, I will look to add because I really believe that this stock is going back to the 400s, 450s by about 2027, 2028. I really like the chart. I can't tell you what it will do on earnings though. So I've been looking at some serious like far out leaps, or I just may wait for earnings and let what shares I do have ride. But it's looking good. So far, we've got these symmetrical sides, and then we've got this big area with no volume. So I would love to see it kind of fill this gap and go up, but I don't know if it will or not. But really like the name. So that's where I am on MongoDB. You guys have any thoughts?
Not me personally, no. Cat?
It's not one we've
no, I
covered
mean,
on
on
the
lower
show
time frame, I
before.
can see it. Yeah, on a lower time frame, I can totally see it. I can see it running back up, over the next few months. I just don't know what's going to happen after that, But it looks like a pretty good setup.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you have, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would love, maybe we get a fifth wave up. I don't on this, kind of wave one move. I just don't know though. Like, so I'm just keeping my shares and I will add if it drops. So
I mean, one thing about it, I really like if it's holding 191, I like that. And if it continues to hold that, then I think it goes higher. That's my only thoughts on it.
oh, that's good on the weekly
I
fund
think
flow oscillator.
people, oh yeah, we didn't even do Palantir. People are asking about Palantir. What are your takes on Palantir right now, RBB?
Oh, so Palantir.
Is it going to go to 700?
Oh, my goodness. You know, we just hit the 3.272 fib right here, this 134. We had a nice W, so we kind of had this channel, broke above it, set up a nice harmonic coming out of it. I just don't know on Palantir. I mean, I want to say it eventually hits like 150, but I don't know. Like this 135, 140 was kind of my last hurrah for Palantir for now, but it's just not stopping. So I mean, it's hard for me to say, but I don't know. That's kind of, you guys probably follow this more than I do. I played, a few calls on it. I've done well on shares, but I mean, it just keeps running. Like, if you think of this as 3, 4, 5, Like, it seems like this is an extending fifth wave, and I just don't know how far it extends, but I would think, 135, 140 is kinda what I'm watching, but I don't know. It's been a hot stock for a long time. All the dips have been bought. They wouldn't even let it really get below 100 again, I think it was, like, this 99 over here for a day or 2, and then it was gone, and then this, 105, and it was gone, so, I mean, that trend is up and strong so far. I know there was a lot of dark pool the other day, like at 131 and 40 cents. So I've kind of been using that level as a guide. So as long as it's above that, I stay bullish, but I don't know. What are your guys' takes?
So you're saying that Palantir doesn't have a safe word? It just wants to keep going. I mean, it looks very strong. It's incredibly strong. I'm not going to get in the way because on a high
I
time
mean,
frame,
I
it looks
say
like
the safe word is this trend line. And if it breaks it, take some profits. But like, I don't know. Like, and trend is your friend until it stops, kind of thing, until the music stops. So, we're over
What if this
this
is the
level. We're
what
over
if this
this
is
one.
this is that SOS part of the wick?
that's the safe word. SOS. Sorry.
Yeah. What if
No,
this is the
actually,
SOS?
the harmonic looks absolutely beautiful. Like yeah. I love seeing this kind of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that harmonic played perfectly, and that's where I initially went out, and then I was like, "This thing is not even breaking 100." I'm like, "We gotta go back in for it." So, it's just been crazy, and now you can kinda see this is a second harmonic right here. I mean, you can go in and, you can see, like, this is,
Yeah.
you've got another
Wow.
one right there.
Wow. Amazing.
So I don't know where this D ends, maybe 137, maybe 140. Like, it's it's kind of a replica of this one. Like, it's a small copy of what happened over here. So, kind of crazy, but that's what it's doing, is it's just replicating its last move.
Yeah, and then it's ending the harmonic with a dip, and then it gets bought up and it just wants to keep going. It's amazing.
Yeah, the one thing I found though, as the harmonics get smaller, that means it's weakening. So you can see the scale of this harmonic versus this one. So
Right.
you can just
So it's
tell,
more
like,
like a
this is where it has
bending
a lot of
diagonal.
power, and here it doesn't. It's getting smaller. So as they get smaller, then that's when I kind of get a little more worried.
Got it. So the safe word could be an SOS, or it could just be breaking the trend line going down. I
Yeah,
guess
it
we would have
really
to watch.
depends on the
Yeah.
market. I mean, Palantir
Yeah.
has been a market leader. Like, if the market's running, Palantir is running. So it has been the a definite leader of this current market run off of the 5100 or 4900 to 5100 area. Palantir has been a big leader, and instead of NVDA getting so much attention, I would say Palantir has been the stronger. I mean, NVIDIA has it ran 84 to 140. So maybe that's not accurate. Maybe they do it together, but Palantir is kind of, showing off during these runs and definitely making itself known as like the AI leader.
Yeah.
I love
Can I show my chart?
hearing these thoughts. Yes, Tracker.
Yeah, we can switch to you, Tracker.
I'll be brief.
All right.
Okay. Here's my
Impossible.
Palantir chart. And just a simple using Matt's Fibonacci retracement method from the right here, this 63.40 low to this $125.41 high. And then it kind of back tested, made a higher low, and now it goes through the gets over the 50%, oscillates back under it, goes up, Uh, 886 is pretty crucial. Once it gets over, back test it. It starts to break out, then runs back down to the 70.2 one more time. But I think it's just, to make the longer story short, it's going to go to the 127.4. So I've got I've got a sell box between 142.28 and 151.08. My fibs based on from 2061 to 125.41 to the higher low of 65.40. These fib extensions on the right, I think it wants to go to 764. And then if it does, then it's going to send it back to the 382 after that to 105.43. So this is where I think this could be like the spooky, I don't know, whatever pullback, whenever we're going to get the pullback from the crazy summer highs, maybe this is where it happens. But yeah. And then after it can go 764, 382, 1382 is next up here at 210 with a back test of the 100% fib extension at 170.20. But here's what I think it's going to do. And so here we are. I guess it's not quite an SOS because the SOS would have then kicked it way up. It does, and it doesn't do this at all. 100% fib at 120. And that would be your wick off SOS and then runs up again. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at right now. These two numbers. And I'm done.
And Kat, do you want to share anything or?
No, I don't have much. I think it's one of those things. On higher time frame, I think it looks like once it go higher, how much does it pull back? I don't think anybody really knows for sure. But I think
I literally just told you.
Good levels to look at. Yeah, no, these are great levels to look at. I think
I'm teasing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really extremely hard to trade this stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know how you guys even do it. The trend is so strong to the upside, and it just keeps on defying expectations. All the dips get bought. Like, I don't even know how you guys trade it.
But yeah, one thing about that.
No, go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead. Trey.
I was going to say I don't have a day job like Kat does.
Yeah, I'm always.
We just keep buying calls, so until it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's been a flawless strategy.
Yeah, I mean, wizards here. That's what we do.
Well, one thing that aligns with your 131.40 for the dark pool is the top of the monthly Bollinger Band. Now, I know Kat was looking at it too. The 131.88. That it's been riding it as a support the whole time. So yeah, I think with Japan we can watch that, right? We can watch the 131 zone basically, and if that continues to push it up towards resistance, then I think that's the way we got to go by. But if it ever starts to drop below that and stay below the majority of the time, then perhaps it's time to retest lower levels. And one thing we could see for the next resistance, not the log scale 157, but the linear scale up at 147.31, that could be basically the next target if it chose to keep riding the upper Bollinger Band as support.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly how you use those levels until, unless new ones show up that are, more, that have, as many or as more prints. But that was a pretty substantial one.
Yeah.
And this is one of those that I just keep buying and holding. I don't have much else to really, it could give you some crazy up and down, like if it goes down to some of the lower levels that the tracker's looking at, like 105. That's a big drop from where it is right now, but it's possible. Anything's possible. I'm just not even gonna guess. I'm just gonna hold.
I love Palantir. Palantir, is like, it's the stock that let me start off with like was like $300,000, and I doubled it to $600,000 when I traded it really early on, right after the IPO. I went crazy big into it.
Imagine if you still had all those shares.
Exactly.
Been way better off.
I told you the story, but I once owned 100,000 shares of AMD for $2 a share, and I sold them for $10.
That was a mistake. You could have literally just put it there and walked away forever, and then you would have been very, very well off.
I didn't know then.
But that's trading in hindsight. Who cares? It's the past. Can't do a shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But Palantir did me a solid already.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end. Is there anything else that's catching your eye right now, RBB, before we run away?
I don't think so. I think we've covered a lot of them, a lot of good names. So,
Yeah.
we're always watching NVDA. It's had a nice push today. Going to go challenge close to what it
What do you think
did
about
on earnings. So
what do
go
you think
ahead.
about the AI and the nuclear energy stocks? Do you have any favorites?
So, I was in OKLO, I was in NNE. I sold some of those last week.
Yeah.
I like them, but you have to be careful because, those are still industries that are, oh wow, that really did drop. I'm glad I did sell. I hadn't
Yeah.
looked at OKLO today.
They're in
Yay.
retracement. My chart shows them in retracement as
Yeah.
well.
So, the problem is that they, fundamentally, they have some issues. They're not making a lot of profit. They're just kind of being pushed up by the market. So you have to be careful in these names, almost treat them like SPACs. But
Right.
it you you just you got to know where those supports and resistance are, where to buy, where to get out. I had been in OKLO for a long time, and so I just finally took some profit, and same with NNE. So I mean, I think as long as the market's flying, they will fly, but when the market stops flying, they're one of the first to sell. So just, be careful and know where you are. Like obviously here is a lot of lack of volume, lack of volume. You can see where the volume is holding. So, right here it stopped kind of right where it needed to. So, you want to see it protect this level. This is OKLO and go. If it starts to drop into here, then you don't have a lot of volume until you get back down to 41 39 to 41. So you just really need to manage those are just not the type that you close your eyes and not watch them,
Oh no.
because it's too much of a new space, and a lot can change, a lot can happen, the names can roll over and a new leader emerges. There's just a lot going on there.
Yeah. Hey, here's one for you. If you're not already following it, UEC. That one's a really good. They've been spying uranium contracts for years and years and years. They're sort of like the MicroStrategy or the strategy of uranium. I see it as having
Oh, yeah.
completed a 382236, and my next target is the 123.6 up at $14.44. I know it's not a fast stock like a technology stock, but this one should just give and give and give for the foreseeable year, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, if it can, bounce out of this channel, I think it looks
Yeah.
good. If it gets pulled back down, then it's going to go for a little less. But if it can start to peak above this channel, then that looks, pretty good right now. So sometimes it needs a little more time, but I just say kind of watch this channel line right there and then see if it
Yeah.
can go. But yeah, I have heard of that. I think Tim did a chart on that. I'll have to go back and look it up. But yeah,
This is a
I
good
see
one.
that in
I
the
like this.
future.
And it's got on my MCDX Plus, the institutions are really buying it up. 76% institutions in Wales and like no retail. It's basically retail's pushed out to the side. So they're definitely accumulating this one.
Yeah.
All
I like
right,
that.
guys. I think we've hit a lot of big names, and I love seeing things that I don't usually see. So this is always a pleasure to have you over, RBB.
Thank you so much for that.
And we try to set up like a
My pleasure to
hard
join you guys.
deadline of like 9 o'clock. Yeah. No, I hope I didn't scare you with my cough and my Wyckoff jokes. I'm sorry about that.
No,
Please come back.
no, you didn't scare me. So no, Tuesday nights are
Oh,
just
I guess I'll
sometimes
try harder. No, I'm just
Tuesday nights can just be a little tricky sometimes. So, but I
Yeah.
rearranged some things so that I could be here, and glad I did.
Aw.
Always enjoy being here with you guys and catching up and hearing your thoughts. So, really
Yeah, it's
enjoyed it.
been fun. Yeah, that's me too. Thank you again,
You're
and
awesome. Please say hi to Tim for all of us.
Yeah, please
Will
do.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. I see a lot of comments and appreciate and names I recognize. So appreciate you supporting us tonight, and good to see you all.
yeah. And until next time.
Until next time, until next Tuesday.
Yes, until next time.
And then, of course, you get more Matt.
All right, guys. Have a
Matt
good
and I
night.
Good
tomorrow
night.
morning. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Thanks for watching.
Trucker Night. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.